updating you on today's information. One housekeeping rule, please. When this is concluded, if you are going to be interviewing people other than law enforcement, please take those interviews outside to in front of our building. Okay? Thank you very much. Sheriff Couch.
Well, good morning. Thank you all for being here. Normally, when I step up at the podium, sometimes as sheriff I have bad news to report, but that's not the case today. Actually, I come to you with some very great news. Maria Gomez-Perez has been safe in Dover, Ohio, and she should be on her way home here to Gainesville with our investigators within the hour. Most of you in this room have been following Maria's case since she was first reported missing in late May, so I won't go through a detailed timeline of every nuance of our investigation. But I will say this, the last 8 weeks have been grueling for those on our investigative team. I want to thank them for their dedication and for putting their hearts and souls into bringing Maria back to our community. Since we are still in the process of interviewing Maria about the specifics of the last 8 weeks, we will not be able to share all details about her disappearance, but we will tell you what we can when we get that information. Maria was found yesterday in the company of a 31-year-old man, Antonio Augustin. He's a Guatemalan native, and he had been living in northeastern Ohio. We believe Maria had been communicating for a time with Mr. Augustin via Facebook Messenger and some other online apps. Maria had indicated that she was unhappy and she wanted to leave home. We also know that she had been communicating with some other adult males online, telling them the same thing. Now, that being said, let me be very clear on this. Maria is the victim in this case, and remember, she's 12 years old. So our investigation has determined that Mr. Augustin drove from his home in Ohio to Gainesville and picked up Maria on Wednesday, May the 29th. They traveled back to Ohio that same day, and to our knowledge have been there ever since. The break in the case came last week when Maria contacted her father via Facebook Messenger. She had created a new Facebook page so she could reach out to him to tell him that she was okay and that she was not coming home. And she also asked him to stop looking for her. Mr. Gomez Alonzo told our investigators about the message, and members of our Special Investigations Unit obtained the IP address of the Facebook page and were able to find the phone number associated with that account. They were able to track the phone to a residence back in Dover, Ohio. And believing that this information was a credible lead to Maria's location, we sent 4 investigators from our Criminal Investigations Bureau to Dover this week. They were able to track the phone to the Dover City swimming pool, where they made visual contact with Maria and Mr. Augustin. When the two got into a vehicle and traveled to a nearby shopping center parking lot, our agents, along with members of the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office, followed them. They recovered Maria at the scene, and Mr. Augustin was arrested. Maria was taken to a local hospital for a wellness check, and as I said a moment ago, she will be coming back home here to Gainesville today. Mr. Augustin is in the custody of the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office in Ohio. The Hall County Sheriff's Office will also bring charges against Mr. Augustin after we consult with our local district attorney's office. Again, the safe recovery of Maria is great news. Our investigators and our law enforcement partners, including the GBI and the FBI, are to be commended. Our community has been constant with their support, and I appreciate all that has been done in the last 2 months. Our investigation is ongoing, and our hope is to share additional information in the days to come. I don't have a specific timeline for those additional details, but we'll give them out as soon as we can. I can't let this moment go without imploring our parents, grandparents, and guardians to watch over their children very closely. Technology is a wonderful thing. It helped us locate Maria, but also technology can also be used for evil. It's why Maria was able to leave Gainesville with a stranger and travel 9 hours away from home. So please know what your children are doing and who they're communicating with. They're our most vulnerable and our most valuable citizens, and it's our duty to take care of them. So thank you. Now I'll take a few questions.
Sheriff Francisco with Channel 2.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know, what's this guy's history, Antonio, and how concerning is it that she was able to get in touch with him, and do you think that he's been with other children?
As far as its history, that's still to be determined. This is real fresh and ongoing. I look forward to having those same answers to those questions. And it is so easy these days for kids to get online and communicate with so many different people. And, it's really scary to think that, there are people out there that will prey on children. And she sought to leave home, and this person came and got her.
Does she go back home now when she's done with her wellness check? And what was her reaction? How was she doing? And I know she didn't want to come home, so talk about that.
Well, it's one of those things where we will have to determine with the Department of Family and Children Services and the court system what's in her best interest. So again, that's something that's still fresh, and we look to have an answer for you on that very soon.
Sure.
But everything will be in her best interest.
Sheriff Adam Murphy, Atlanta News First.
Yes, sir.
What at this time is Mr. Augustin charged with?
Well, of course, he took a child, a 12-year-old child, across state lines, so he can face several felony charges. And again, we'll need to consult with the DA's office here to see what those additional charges will be here in Hall County and in Georgia. Of course, the Ohio authorities would have some other charges too, with interference with custody and so forth. So he could face several felonies in both states.
Sure.
Very serious.
How old is Ms. Augusto? How old is him?
How old is he? What?
The suspect.
Yes, he is. Yes.
How old is him? How old is him?
He is 31 years old, and he lives in a residence in Dover, Ohio. But other than that, I don't know any more information about him. They were still looking into that earlier this morning.
Sheriff Couch, Nick Watson, Hazel Times. Are there any other adults that are possibly facing charges or under suspicion by law enforcement?
Not to my knowledge, no. Not at this time. As the case goes forward, there could be. I wouldn't rule that out, but at this moment, I don't know of any. No.
Sheriff, Tyler Finger with Fox 5. How lucky are you guys to be able to find her safely? Because in a lot of situations, when 2 months pass by, this circumstance could have been totally different.
It could have been. Given the fact, that she was 12 years old. I mean, she's a child. And for her to be able to put herself out there, and there's folks that will prey, on children, and that's what happened in this situation. So we're very fortunate that we were able to locate her. I'm going to tell you, our investigators did a tremendous job and stayed on this case night and day to locate her. And that's something we're very fortunate for.
Do you know how long the two had been communicating online?
For quite some time, I think. She had been communicating with some other individuals online as well. So that's what, trying to go through all those different communications, and that's why we went through several states in trying to locate who she may be with. And this one panned out, and we're very successful. So we're very thankful for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, about two more questions.
Yeah, two more. Yes.
Erica Murphy with 11 Alive News.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
hearing from some people that were engaged in helping to search for Maria that they were advised by the GBI to not to drive their own personal cars and coming to the press conference today or to do any searching for her, and that there was some kind of extortion involved with this case. Can you speak to that at all?
Extortion? I'm not familiar with that at all. No.
What do you?
That's news to me, so I hadn't heard that. Yeah.
What about the telling of people who were helping with the search and engaged with that not to drive their own personal cars because of their safety?
We haven't put out any kind of warning like that about driving their personal cars. I'm unfamiliar with that. Yeah.
Sheriff Couch, I know there's been a lot of people in Gainesville that have obviously put a lot of effort into trying to get the word out about Maria's disappearance. I know that there's been banners and billboards and all of that stuff, and I know that there were also some people who pitched in with the reward. What is your message just to the community of Gainesville after all the stuff that's been going on over the last couple of months?
Simple. Thank you. We live in a very caring community, a very loving community. We've seen that time and time again when we've had tragedy that has happened here. And the way the community responded here was tremendous, and we're very thankful for that. With the posters and the billboards and all the efforts that was put out there, I think it raises awareness that of how we do need to protect our children and look out for them, especially with internet safety. I can't stress that enough. And also, it's we are a community that believes in prayer, and I do. And so I think all the prayers and things that people did helped us in this situation. So I'm very grateful.
What happens to the reward money now?
Well, with this, actually, Maria, her communication with her father led to her on location. So she will not be getting the reward, of course, but that was one thing that a lot of folks stepped forward. I had phone call after phone call from business leaders in town offering their support. And so again, it goes back to, your question about the community. There was such an outpouring of love and concern, and that's very heartwarming. You don't see that a lot of parts of the country these days. So very fortunate. I'm sorry?
Do they get their money?
Well, actually, they pledged the money. We never collected it. It was one of those things where, if and when we determined that there was an individual that located her, then we would, call those individuals to write checks, basically, for that.
Sheriff, just
okay.
one more question, and that is, I'm also hearing that the department did not notify Maria's dad when you found her. You put it out on social media first. Can you speak to that?
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect. The lead investigator contacted her father last night, or yesterday, rather. So, yeah, that's incorrect. Okay. All right.
That's going to be it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Me decía la vecina